Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have Keto Thanksgiving. These are going to be 3 different pies that are going to be super keto friendly, but also great to bring to your upcoming Thanksgiving events. They're going to range from very easy to slightly hard, but again, all keto friendly, very, very delicious, perfect for the holiday season or just, your Sunday. And I promise you are going to love them. So please stay tuned and see what I came up with. First things first, we're going to preheat our oven at 350 degrees. So while that's preheating, we're going to start making our stuff for our pies. The first thing we're going to make is a crustless pumpkin pie. So we're going to use some pure pumpkin pie. Do not get the pumpkin pie mix. You want the pure pumpkin pie, okay? You're going to use some coconut milk, full fat coconut milk, unsweetened. Make sure it's unsweetened. You're going to get some pumpkin pie spice. Vanilla extract, some eggs, some sugar substitute, so I'm using Swerve, and you're also going to want some coconut flour and a little bit of coconut oil to grease your baking pan or your baking pie sheet, okay? So let's start gathering everything. The pumpkin pie is going to be the easiest one out of these 3 recipes, so I'm starting the recipes in order from easiest to hardest, okay? So the first one is going to be this pumpkin pie, crustless pumpkin pie. Yeah, so if I say that anymore, I'm gonna start stuttering. But let's start putting everything together and I'll show you just how easy it is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our pumpkin pie, our pure pumpkin, and we're gonna open it up, and we're gonna put that inside our little bowl right here. You're going to use 1 whole can of this. Next up is your 3 eggs. Next thing is going to be our sugar. This is Swerve. You can use whichever one you want. We're going to take our pumpkin pie spice and we're going to add 1 tablespoon of that. It's pretty much the container left. I was using that for my coffee in October. All right. Next thing is some pure vanilla extract. I went ahead and went with the pure vanilla just because, just for the better the quality. I didn't do the imitation. So it is a little bit more, but I figure we're missing out on some of the other ingredients. So went ahead and just went a little extra. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start messing with this coconut milk. I know this might be a little bit different for you guys, but don't worry. First thing is you're going to want to shake it. Because if you've ever had coconut milk or used it, it does have a little bit of a thick layer. So make sure it's shaken out real good. So then I am also just gonna go ahead and stir it to make sure. Benny, stop. Just go ahead and give it a little bit of a stir too, just to make sure that there's no chunks or anything at the bottom. And you're going to take 1 cup. And then we're just gonna whisk everything together, okay? Okay, so that's all mixed up. And then we're going to take our 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. Okay, so you can see it's nice and thick, looks just like what a pumpkin pie should be. I'm thinking because it's crustless, that's why we added the coconut flour, just to make it a little bit thicker and have a little bit of a firmer texture. So next thing we're gonna do, you just tap off that. We're going to transfer our pumpkin pie mix into our greased baking dish. We're going to grease this with a little bit of the coconut oil, okay? So you just go ahead and I'm just going to flatten everything out. So this is going to go into our oven for about 45 minutes. Until you'll start to see your pumpkin pie crack. Then you know it's ready. Once it's done out of the oven, you're going to go ahead and pull it out, and you're going to want to let it cool for about 2 hours, okay? So into the oven it goes. So this cooked in my stove for about 50 minutes, okay? But we all know my stove does cook a little, it does take a little bit longer. You're going to want, as you can see that hole in there, you're going to want to stick it with like a fork or a toothpick and make sure it comes out clean. And you want it to have like a little bit, it can have a little bit of a jiggle, but it looks all good. Trying to see if you could see. Oh, here you go, yeah. So we're gonna, you can see everything is baked nice and firm. It looks delicious. You can see there's a nice crust around here. So it is currently 12:15. We're gonna have to let this sit out and cool for at least 2 hours, okay? So that way it could firm and everything like that, but it looks gorgeous. So here is our first pie, our pumpkin pie, our crustless pumpkin pie. Staying keto, but living the best Thanksgiving life you'll ever have, my friends. Okay, so I cut into my pumpkin pie and it's looking so good, nice and thick. So anyways, you can see, even without the crust, it's nice and firm. The texture is great. So yeah, let's give this a try, okay? All right. I've been cooking pies all day, but I'm gonna try it.
Tastes like cinnamon. With this. Are you talking about
this is all that there is left of this. I gave myself that slice and Rebecca got to it. Is it good?
Just a piece.
Do you like it?
I'm not good.
Mmm.
Mom, I'm gonna eat it.
This is good.
Can I have it?
It is, it's sweet, but not overly sweet. If you like the real sweet pumpkin pies, this may not be for you, but you know how like when you do like a keto dessert, it's not as sweet as the rest of them, like normal desserts, but it has a good taste. Definitely a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
And it's pretty clean too.
Okay. Mom!
I'll give you another piece. Well, obviously it's good, right? All right, so we're going to start on our next dessert. So this is going to be like a medium hard dessert, I think. The only thing is with this is it does just require a little bit more work and a couple more ingredients. So that's why I think that it's a little bit harder, but definitely totally capable of doing, and we're gonna do it. So we're gonna make it look as easy as possible. If you guys have never seen my apple crisp, pretty much the same thing, but we're going to do a apple crumble, like an apple pie crumble, and we're going to make kind of a sugar glaze to go over the top. But we are going to use a chayote. This is basically a little squash. You can find them in a lot of Hispanic markets, so you can go ahead and use them, but we're gonna get them ready. So first things first is you're gonna cut it lengthwise, and inside them they have these little seeds. You're gonna go ahead and take that seed out. You could cut them out if you wanted, but just go ahead and core them, okay? So I have 5 of them. You can use, the recipe calls for 4. We're going to use a little, I'm gonna link you 2 different recipes down below. One is going to be, I like the way I season the chayote, my own way with the original way I've done it. I looked over her ingredients for how she seasoned them and I didn't really care for it. I just didn't like it. And she also didn't call for the xanthan gum or the guam, whatever they call it, the thickener. I definitely think this is a must for this dish because the chayote do give off some water, so your dish will get a little watery if you don't use that. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead, we're going to take the seeds out, and then when I'm done with that, I'm just gonna go through and I'm going to peel them, okay? Just like that. And then we're gonna do that to all of them, and then I'll be back. So now that we have all our chayotes peeled and de-seeded, we're gonna go through and we're going to slice them, okay? And you're gonna wanna slice them like you would do like an apple slice. So I just kind of do them long and thin. And then you're gonna take them, and then right here I just have a little stock pot that I'm dropping them in because we are going to boil them. Because we're gonna wanna take off, because they are slimy, so you're gonna wanna kinda cook that off. You're gonna wanna cook off some of the water, and you're gonna wanna make them tender as well. And then we will season them, and then we will put them in and make the rest of our stuff. But you usually boil them for roughly, I would say, 20 or so minutes. So we're just gonna keep on doing this. You can see, like, they definitely look almost like one of those green Granny Smith apples. So I'm gonna finish cutting these up. We're gonna put them all in the bowl, and then we'll set them to boil. Okay, so we're going to start our cobbler topping while our chayote are still boiling, okay? They're simmering right now, and it's gonna be probably another 5 or 10 minutes, but I wanted to start this, okay? So first thing we are going to do is we are going to just assemble the crumble part of our apple cobbler. So hold on, let me look at my ingredients here. So we are going to take 1.5 cups of finely milled almond flour. This is why I have this little strainer. We're just gonna go ahead and just do like one of those. I don't know what that's called. Shift it, sift it, sift it. That's what it's called. You're gonna sift it. Like I know what I'm doing. So 1.5 cups of almond flour. So 1.5 cups, and then we're just going to, okay, so there is your almond flour. Then you're going to take 1/2 cup of coconut flour. So I am just using organic coconut flour. I got this from Walmart. And we're gonna take 1/2 cup of that. And then you're also gonna do one of these. So you can see it looks very, very nice. Very, very nice. We're gonna take 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 3 tablespoons of swerve, or whatever sugar substitute you prefer. We're gonna take 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, just drop that in there. We got 2 large eggs that are gonna be, these are at room temperature, okay? So we're just gonna go ahead and just start folding the egg mixture in. And then we're gonna start adding our cold butter. And we're gonna fold that in too so it makes the crumbles. We're going to take 4 tablespoons, which is also 1/4 cup. I did just Google that, just so you know. But we're going to add them in chunks, like little chopped up pieces. So we can make the top of the crumble. So, and it's cold, so I kept it in my, I'm gonna actually get a fork and start entering. I'm dropping this in here. Oh, you know what I need is one of those like dough things. I think I said that before. We've done this before and you guys told me. But I do know I've done this before and people said that doing it this way guarantees that it's gonna be, the dough is gonna be airy and it's gonna rise and it's gonna give it a good texture. So it just takes a little bit of time. So you just add in each tablespoon of butter and just kind of start blending it in there. If you see how I'm doing it, because you're gonna want everything to be like crumbly, okay? Because it's gonna be a, you know, a cobbler, an apple crisp cobbler. It's a little work, guys, but it's nothing too hard that you guys can't do. And it's going to really give it that nice home. I mean, it's for Thanksgiving. It's for your family, you know what I mean? So it's a special occasion type deal, you know? So it's gonna be good. And they're gonna taste the love that you're putting into it as you're mushing up all this butter and all the bicep work you're doing right now. They're gonna taste that. They're gonna say, damn, this was made with some love. And you're gonna say, it sure the hell was. Now eat up. So once you can tell that your stuff is done, you can kind of slide a fork through them and then you'll notice that they start to shrivel up and they'll give off like that little foam. So I'm just going to dump them in this strainer here. So now that we're pretty much, now we just have to assemble and season our chayote, but we're gonna preheat the oven to 350 and we're gonna start seasoning the chayote while that is done. Okay, so I just have a baking dish and I'm gonna dump these in here. Okay, so this is just a Pyrex dish. And again, we're going to use the same filling that I used for, we're gonna season it or whatever the way I do my other ones, okay? So like I said, I'm going to leave you 2 different recipes down below so you guys can follow. Okay, so the first things first is I'm going to take a lemon and I'm going to put just the juice of 1 tablespoon of lemon in there, okay? And then, so the lemon is going to help so it's not bitter. And I like the fresh lemon because it gives it a better taste. I just feel like you can taste the difference, honestly. Okay, first things first is we're going to take 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. We're gonna take 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground clove. This is going to be 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. This is going to be 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And we're going to take 1/4 teaspoon of, 1 teaspoon of this xanthan, not guam, I don't know, whatever it's called, this baking binder. This one calls for 1/4, but it wasn't enough last time, so I kind of kicked it up a little bit. We're gonna need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and we're going to take 1/2 cup of your Swerve sweetener, or whatever granulated sweetener you want. We're gonna take 1/2 cup of that, okay? You're gonna make sure everything gets nice and coated with the seasonings and the sugars, okay? And then it has a little bit of the juice from the lemon. It literally tastes just like you would imagine an apple pie would. It smells good, so good. Okay, so here is our like apple pie mix, I guess. That's what we're gonna call it. I'm gonna put a little bit more. I feel like this is a little bit watery. I'm gonna put a little bit more. Like 1 more teaspoon of the baking binder, just because I feel like it, for some reason, it's looking real watery to me today. It doesn't hurt anything. It just doesn't have any flavor or nothing. It just makes it thick, like me. Just joking, not really. Okay, anyways, so our oven is preheated. Everything is mushed down. So now we're gonna take our cobbler part of our dough and we're going to spread it. Okay, so here is our apple pie crumble. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put this in the oven at 350 for about 40 minutes until the crust gets golden brown and crispy, okay? And then right when it's about to come out, we're going to make a glaze to put over it to top our delicious apple pie crumble. Can you guys believe it? It looks so good. All right, so it's been cooking for about 45 minutes. The oven mitts are right there. And I'm gonna have Leo pull the apple cobbler out, and we're gonna put it on the oven, and then we're gonna make an icing for this. So this one, ooh, yes. Oh shit. You can see right here, it's still bubbling, nice and crispy. Yes. So what we are going to do is we're going to make an icing to drizzle over the top of this, just to give it a little something something. Okay, so let's do this. But honey, this is looking mighty nice, mighty nice. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take, we're gonna do confectioners. We're going to take confectioners sugar. This is the Swerve one, like their powdered sugar. And we're gonna rip that bad boy open. And we are going to take 1/4 a cup of that. We're going to take some heavy whipping cream. We're going to take 4 tablespoons. Then we are going to take some pure vanilla. Just want to make sure all the sugar is dissolved. It's just almost like a glaze, okay? So we're gonna just top this over our cobbler. Okay, so now you can see it has that really nice glaze on it. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so freaking good. I literally cannot wait. So we're gonna cut into this and we're gonna serve some to Leopold and see what he thinks. So you can serve this warm or cold, guys, so it's your choice. But I kind of want to serve it warm, so here we go. So you can see in there, perfect. That that baking binder really helps just kind of get it together. And look at how the layers, just the textures, everything is so freaking good. All right, Lee, you want to try it? This would be really good if you had some Cool Whip. We did, but Rebecca ate it. Or even some vanilla ice cream to put over the top. As a dessert. So I'm gonna try just a little piece here. I'll wait for him to go first. Come on. Can you taste the glaze on the top, like a little kick?
Yeah, it's nice and sweet.
How is the consistency of the crumble? Is it got like a little bite to it? Like kind of like I'm thinking like a cake. You know how we top cakes with, or like pies with cakes? Good. Hell yeah.
This one's better than the last one we made.
Yeah, because it's thicker too, right?
Yeah. You took the skin off the
yeah.
too, right?
Yep. So thumbs up. Would you pass it on as an actual apple cobbler?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, it's a winner. All right, next things we're gonna do, next pie is a pecan pie. And we're gonna make our own crust and the filling and all the things, okay? But we're gonna preheat the oven to 350 degrees. So there you go. It's on, it's popping. Let's get the stuff together for the crust. Okay, so first things first is we're gonna make our crust for our pie. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to re-sift some flours. So first things first is the almond flour, and we're gonna take 1 1/3 cup here. I got some new measuring bowls. They have a little gingerbread man on them. Anyways, so 1 1/3. All right, next thing is going to be some coconut flour. This is going to be 1/2 cup. All right, so you can see how nice that flour looks. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of my binding agent. This is the one I use. You can use whatever one you want to use. But I feel like mine just takes a little bit more than what other people's do, so that's why I did it. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is just sea salt. So the next thing we're going to take, this is 13 tablespoons of Kiri's Gold Butter. This is very cold, and much like the other, like the crumble we made for the apple cobbler, we're going to do the same thing for our crust. So we're gonna cut these up into pieces, and then we're going to just mash them in with a fork. If you have one of those like slice things, I don't know what it's called, for your dough, that will be much quicker, but I don't have one. I don't do this often, so I'm not really into the whole, I don't bake all that often, so. And I never made my own dough until keto, I'll tell you that one. I would have just bought one of those Keebler pie crusts at the grocery store. Okay, so you just drop it all in. Okay, so here is my dough. Look it, I made that. Oh crap, TMI. But we're gonna go ahead and put it in our pie dish. And then we're just going to just kind of spread it out. And we're going to bake it for about 10 minutes. I'm just making sure it goes up the top or like on the sides too, you know. Here is our pie crust, right? I think it looks okay. I've never made a pie crust before, but everything's all coated. So I'm gonna throw this in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna start on our filling. I feel like it needs to be like pressed down a little bit more, because I feel like it's gonna be too thick maybe. I don't know, because I feel like it's supposed to be like hold it, you know. Again, I never did all this stuff before. My mom used to buy the pies at the store. Okay, I think that might be good. All right, in the oven, 10 minutes, here we go. All right, so while the crust is cooking, we're gonna start on our filling as Benny plays with this obnoxious toy. Right here, I have 12 tablespoons of Carrie's butter. Using the good butter, you know, cheap butter. And you're gonna put in a sauteing pan, or frying pan, whatever, not a like saucepan. It specifically said that. That's the reason why I'm saying that. All right, also I'm gonna add 3/4 cup of the last of my Swerve granulated sweetener. And we're going to mix these, okay? We're gonna keep stirring them. We have this on medium-low heat, okay? This is like gonna be our own caramel sauce. If you guys did not want to make your own caramel sauce and you wanted to kind of take an easier way out, I wanted to give you guys two options. So you could do it this way, the longer way, or you can use the Chalk Zero caramel syrup. I seen another recipe and they just use this, or the maple syrup too, but you can use either one. But yeah, so you can totally do that and just skip this step. And I do have a discount code for them down below if you guys wanted to check it out. But I wanted to give you guys like the two options to, you know, get your pecan pie on. So we put some little extra love and TLC in here. We're waiting for this to get like a golden brown, and then we'll add in our other ingredients. So it's gonna thicken and it's gonna do its thing, okay? This is legit homemade pies. You can see like it's starting to get a little bit of a brown. Okay, so now we're going to add 1.5 cups of heavy cream. And then a teaspoon of sea salt. Okay, and then we're gonna turn it down because we're gonna want it to simmer for about 20 minutes, okay? Okay, I went ahead and I took our pie crust out. I just waited until it got this really nice, like, you know, like brown crust, I guess. Yeah, so it's cooling off. I'm still waiting for this caramel sauce to be done. It has to thicken up. So it's getting there. This stuff's getting ready. I am going to cut up about 2 cups of pecans, and then I'm going to save the rest of them for just the top. So we're going to like kind of crush them up so they can go in with the mix, and then some of the ones will be for toppings. And yeah, so we're getting there. We are slowly but surely getting there. So let's take care of this real quick. Okay, so just took out some aggression and beat the hell out of those pecans. So let's check on our caramel sauce. It says in the directions that it should coat the back end. So, ooh, that's ready. That's ready. So, we are done with that. So we're gonna turn that off. All right, before this cools off, we're going to stir in some extract. This is going to be the maple extract. I get mine at Walmart. Love this. We're gonna do 3/4 of that. And then we're going to take some more vanilla extract, and we're going to take 1/2 tablespoon of that, and we're going to dump that in there. And then we're just going to mix that in. So we're gonna have to let this cool for about 20 minutes or so because we're gonna have to add in an egg, and we don't want the egg to cook in the caramel sauce. So we're gonna let this sit off the heat, like I said, for about 15-20 minutes until it's like warm, but not warm enough to cook an egg. Just making sure everything is all mixed up. It smells really, really good. So this is, like I said, if you guys wanted to go ahead and get the Chalk Zero caramel sauce, you can skip this step altogether. But if you're being extra and you just really wanted to make sure you knew what was going inside your pecan pie here, and you really wanted to make sure you had some good, you know, wholesome ingredients here. So what we got, look at that. That's really nice. Even if you wanted to make extra, guys, and you could even like kind of jar up some of this and keep this for desserts for the family as well for the holiday season. I mean, this syrup, this recipe alone can, you know, you can do a couple things with it. So it's always good to have, right? All right, so let's let this sit, and then we will add our egg and then assemble our pie shortly. Okay, so our caramel sauce is pretty much cool. Okay, so you guys can look at that. This is, it almost, me and Leo were trying to figure out what it tastes like, and it almost tastes like toffee. It's really good. So we're going to add our egg. This is a room temperature egg as well, okay? And we're gonna add this in and mix it. So that's all mixed in. Now we're gonna take our pie crust, and we're going to take our crushed up pecans. I feel like I could have made this dough a little deeper, but I kind of knew this was going to be a problem. I put this on a baking sheet just so when I dump this on, if it doesn't spill, okay? So we're going to take our sauce here. All right, we're going to dump our caramel sauce over the top.
Sure, all of it?
Mm-hmm. Don't lick that because it has raw egg in there. Okay, so I am going to leave, because like I said, I wish I would have made this a little bit deeper, but it looks really, really good. And we're gonna top it with some pecans, whole pecans. Okay, so this is going to go in. So I did put it on this just because it was a little too much. So I definitely think, remember I was telling you guys I thought I should have made this a little bit deeper. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So I just have it on this baking dish just to, if it drips over, it doesn't dirty up the oven. And the baking dish will catch it all. So this is going to go into the oven at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes, okay? And then we will check in when it's done. But guys, look at this. This is like so nice. And this sauce that we made, perfect for any type of occasion. But all right, into the oven it will go. Okay, my friends, out of the oven. Look at how good this looks. I am glad that I put it on this dish because it did spill over quite a bit. But nonetheless, so it cooked for about 50 minutes, 55 minutes. Basically, the directions just said to cook it until the top got like a dark brown and it it firmed, which it did. I jiggled it a little bit and it was all good. But you are going to want this to cool for about an hour or two. Like these kids, I had a little bit, but Leo and these kids got into the apple cobbler one, because that one you could eat right away. That one's, they put a dent into that one. So yeah, we'll cut some of this up and we will plate it up when it's ready. But look, let me tell you something. You roll up to Thanksgiving and you got this bad boy in for, you know, your company, or you come pull this out to put it to the table for people to eat. They're gonna say, oh, where'd you get it? You're gonna say, what do you mean, where'd I get it? I made everything. They're gonna be like, what? Who is this person? So, all right, we will try this out shortly, but yeah, it looks really, really good. Okay, should have probably let it cool just a little bit longer, but if you guys can see the detail in here, you can see how that really nice, that syrup, that caramel syrup we made with a layer of pecans in there, and then that crust is real nice and flaky. So Leo is going to try our pie. I'll have a little bit too, but he's gonna go first. Is it as good as we thought it was gonna be?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Out of all three of them, which one's your favorite?
Probably the apple one.
The apple one?
Yeah.
Is this one too sweet? Or is it just...
That's good.
How's the crust?
Real flaky.
Real flaky?
Mm-hmm.
All right. No egg in that. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow.
All right. I'm going to try a piece. Hold on, guys. So, I'm going to make sure I get a piece of everything. It tastes like a legit pecan pie. Like, I would never know that there was a difference, because I've had them. This sauce.
That was really good.
Yeah, this sauce needs to be like on cookies or something. We're gonna do something for this for Christmas. I think it's a tie for me with the apple one and this. You can taste like the extra like love in this. You know, it's not like a slap together, like, but you could taste like you put effort in it. All right,